check this out. I find it adorable.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. All those boys are much too much. Those boys.
So much. We're going to talk more about black men and fatherhood later on. I can't wait to talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about one of the most dominant fashion trends among young black men, which is wearing saggy pants or sagging pants, all right? Now, you may not know this, but the sagging trend, a lot of people say, actually originated in prisons when inmates were not allowed to wear belts because belts can harm someone else or themselves. In the early 1990s, hip-hop stars brought it to the mainstream, but President Obama, when he was asked about black men and sagging pants, said, brothers should pull up their pants. You're all walking by your mother, your grandmother. Your underwear is showing. What's wrong with that? Come on. That's what he said. So joining us now are Jay, Harold, and Jake. So I'm going to start with you, Jay. You sag, right?
Yeah, I sag all the time.
Yeah, you're sagging right now. I see it. Okay. So tell me why you sag.
I mean, this is my personal style, so I don't feel like I have to apologize for it. This is the way I dress. I grew up in the hood. I mean, even though now I definitely have my own style, I still feel like it definitely influenced the way I dress today.
Can you turn around for me? What's going on back there? Well, wait, turn around again. Let me see. What is... Oh, and lift your shirt just a little bit. Oh, my God! Your whole booty is out. It must be airy. And free. Okay, Harold, and yours seem, I'm sorry, Jay, yours seem kind of tight. Is that the new style?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like a slouch skinny or something.
A slouch skinny jean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's the new thing. Okay, now, Harold, you sag as well.
Yes, Tyra, I'm gonna keep it so real with you. This is my swag. Like, this is what me and my friends do when we about to go out.
Let me see. When you're about to go, oh my God! Ah!
I mean, when we about to go out, we get fly, we do a little, and I feel as though some people might not like it, but if you don't like it, don't look at it.
Okay, I know that there's some people in your life that don't like it.
Yeah, my dad hates it. My dad hates it. Older people hate it, and I actually had a girlfriend to say, I think that's so unattractive, but I'm not going to change for nobody. This is what I like doing.
And Jake, you sag as well. Tell us why you sag.
Well, I'm a pretty tall, skinny guy, so it can be kind of tough finding jeans that fit. So either I have to find jeans that are too big if I want to reach my shoes, or I have to get jeans that are too short.
So yours is just a technical sag?
Mostly.
So let's see you. Turn around.
But it's just because, I mean, that's the only way I can get pants that fit me.
So, Jay, you've heard now what President Obama has to say about sagging pants. Do you think it'll make you think twice about it?
I definitely respect Obama. I definitely voted for him. And I think that he's a great leader. But at the same time, nobody's going to determine how I dress. I pay my own credit card bills. So, I mean, I'm going to dress how I dress. And it's just my personal style. And I don't think that how I dress is how I carry myself. And I think that's way more important. Okay,
who has something to say about sagging in the audience? Who has something to say? Stand on up. What do you have to say about sagging?
I think it's ridiculous.
What's your name?
My name's Isaac. And when I go to work, I'm not required to wear I'm not required to wear a shirt and tie, but I do. And people always look at me and they say, you look like the executive, or you look like the boss around here.
Like, heck yeah,
And I'm like, that's what I want people to think. I want people to think I'm in charge, because you know what? That's the job that I want. I want to be the CEO. And when people see me with the pants down, they're not looking at that. They're thinking I'm a thug. They're looking at something else.
Joining us is Professor of Sociology at Georgetown University and author of April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King's Death and How It Changed America, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, who I wanted to be here today. I think you're such a profound man, and I really wanted you to be here today. I was on the phone with my producers, like, you need to get him there. We're doing this show.
Thank you,
So tell me, how do you feel about sagging?
Well, look, obviously it's a fashion statement. When I was coming up, I'm 50 years old now. Back in the day in Detroit, when we had a big fro, the Michael Jackson, you a dance, 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 dancing machine. Watch it get down, and she do her thing, right? We had the big fro, right? You had the big fro, you had the blue jeans. We didn't sag. We didn't live in Sag Harbor then. We couldn't make it out that far. But we certainly were considered thugs. And we grew up to be useful men in our society. So on the one hand, I'm quite resistive to the notion that people would spend time legislating, as some legislators have done, trying to outlaw. Oh, in Texas, they're trying to outlaw sagging. I say don't outlaw sagging pants, outlaw sagging dreams, sagging hopes, sagging possibilities, because we've all had long hair, tattoos, and the like. On the other hand, I tell my 30-year-old son, I'm for your sartorial preference. But when you roll up into the corporate world, obviously you have to acknowledge the decorum of that particular world. If you want to get over, then you got to pull your pants up and look straight. Not because I have a judgment against the sagging pants, but because society perceives you in a certain way. So you have to acknowledge the freedom. If you're working at a hip-hop station, or if you're working as the head of a corporation and you happen to be a hip-hop star, sag all you want. But until you get to that point, you have to acknowledge the necessity for dressing according to for success.
I agree with you. Okay, we have actor, comedian, and author of Your Girlfriends Only Know So Much, and he's a friend of the Tyra Show, Finesse Mitchell. What you got to say about sagging?
Hey, Tyra. How y'all doing? Well, honestly, I think it's embarrassing to the point where how low they're taking their pants, you know, because I used to be the guy, you know, I'm 36 now, but it was only probably like 3 years ago when I was wearing big jeans until my wife said, you need to start wearing jeans that fit. And I was like, why? What's wrong with these? And I didn't think about it until I started doing it and things started looking, you know, better. And I started to see, you know, as I went to the malls and I would see the younger guys who didn't look like thugs, but they're not even wearing the long white T-shirts anymore to cover up their saggy jeans. They're wearing tank top wife beaters, tucking them into the boxes, and then wearing a belt, you know, that's tying the belt right below their knees.
How do they stay up?
And I don't understand I don't understand how you can be a thug or want to portray that image, but have your butt out for everybody to see. And even if you do a crime, how you gonna get away? You can't run like that. So, you know, if Jay-Z can tell people, you know, to change it, switch up your style, stop wearing the jerseys. He said that in the album, and so many people stopped wearing jerseys. You know, they started putting on buttons up. If he can do that, then I know Barack, when he says, you know, look, it's time to vote. And there was a lot of people that went out and stood in 3-hour lines to vote. So if they can do all that, I know if Barack will influence people to put their pants up. I would hope.
I think there's going to be some more belts selling right now in stores after Barack said
But the problem would be if they pull their pants up and they still don't have a job. Pull your pants up and still don't have opportunity. Pull your pants up and still don't have acceptance in society.
And we're going to be talking about that too. I agree with you. We'll be right back.
The state of our economy calls for action, bold and swift, and we will act. Not only to create new jobs, but to lay a new foundation for growth. We will restore science to its rightful place and wield technology's wonders to raise healthcare's quality and lower its cost. We will harness the sun and the winds and the soil to fuel our cars and run our factories, and we will transform our schools and colleges and universities to meet the demands of a new age.
Our first African-American president of the United States, we're asking the question, how will President Obama's role as the leader of the free world impact the black man? President Obama said, sometimes I'll go to an 8th grade graduation and there's all that pomp and circumstance and gowns and flowers, and I think to myself, it's just 8th grade. To really compete, they need to graduate high school, and then they need to graduate college, and they probably need a graduate degree too. Obama's words were for everyone, but will they resonate with our young black men? Nearly 2/3 of African Americans undergraduates are women. At black colleges, the ratio of women to men is 7-to-1. Joining us now is Latifah, who's concerned about her cousin Julito's lack of interest in going to college. So tell me about what your main concern is.
Well, Tyra, this is my cousin, and I love him to death before I say anything. But I feel like he's falling into the stereotype of entertainment or sports within our community. He doesn't want to go to school. He just wants to either rely on acting or pick up a sport, anything like that. But he's pretty much doing what everybody does. And I feel like now, being that we have a black president, it should inspire him to be more proactive. Everything that he is doing is like hood-wise, hood education. I'm going to learn from the streets. I'm going to do this and do that. And he's not really putting his all into what he can do.
So you're an actor, Julito, right?
Yes.
When was your last job?
I was in an episode of Law & Order, Special Victims Unit, in January of 2008.
That was your last acting job?
Yes.
And you're going to rely on this as an income?
I mean, it's not necessarily my fault. You know, growing up, I was learning, I was doing good in school, but nowadays, it just feels like school, it's not really my thing. And I did, you know, well in the acting field, so I feel like I just want to, I really don't have anything else. That's what I do, is
You don't
the acting.
have anything else. What does that mean, you don't have anything else?
I'm educated, but not well enough to be a lawyer, a doctor, and, you know, I feel like I'm very good in what I do, so acting is basically, you know, my thing.
Dr. Dyson, how do you feel hearing him talk, saying this is all I have, I don't have anything else? That saddens me.
Well, let me start. Look, obviously, let's be honest, and I'm a college professor, got a PhD at Princeton, but I was a teen father, hustled on the streets for 4 years, didn't start college till I was 21. So I'm not here trying to point the finger or condescendingly, because then that would be a lie about what I've done in my own life. But once having awakened, once realizing that if I want to provide an opportunity for my son in the future, I had to be educated in this society. I think we have to acknowledge that. Now, if you're a tremendous actor, and you are, I've seen you act, you're an extraordinary actor on The Wire and the like, so you got mad chops as a thespian, but the question is, if your last gig was about a year ago, you probably want to generate an alternative strategy to self-support, which means you got to get some education, which means you got to, and it's not for the sake of education. My son took an extended plan to finish, but I told him, you're going to keep your behind in school until you get a degree, because you're going to get out of my house and out my pocket. So the thing is, right, and I love that, brother, but so I think you have to have an alternative, because most black men are not going to be able to shoot a basketball. Either you got a jump shot, you know, jump shot, or you got a wicked jump shot, right? You can do that. Entertainment. The thing is that you've got to find an alternative to those things so that you can fall back, a fallback plan, so that should it not work out, you're educated yourself to the degree that you're able to take care of yourself and do your thing.
People need to learn, too, if you have success early in acting, then that's what, I mean, you're popular. People like, man, they're telling you every day, you're great, man, I love that show. But then when that show is over, and it's been a year since you have to advance what you know as far as reading more books and getting comfortable and getting that education, because that's the only thing that's going to allow you to take it to the next level.
Like,
I can tell you about me, Julito. I, started modeling, and I got accepted to 5 colleges for film and television production. And 2 weeks before my first day of school, I got discovered in LA, and they wanted me to go to Paris. I told myself, okay, I'm going to put college on hold for a year. I talked to my university and deferred for a year. And they even said that they would give me some type of credit if I can learn French when I came back. Okay. But I told myself, if I am not a supermodel in a year, peace out, Paris. I told myself that plan. I give myself 1 year, and if I'm not there, I'm going to go back to school and get my education and go after my other dream, which was film and television production, to be a producer. And it's interesting to me that you don't have that other plan. And that's what saddens me, is to not have that true other plan where you can be just as successful but in another field.
It's like, the reason I haven't acted is not because I haven't been, it's just right now in the society and everything that's going on in the industry-wise, there's no roles out there for me, and I don't want to be stereotyped as a young hood guy. I'm not saying just because I don't go to college, I'm not educated, because if you look at people like 50 Cent, like Jay-Z, they never, none of them made it out of high school, But
you're looking at 1 in a million. That's like looking at a young girl looking at a supermodel and saying, well, Tyra did this, or so-and-so did this. Those are 1 in a million. It is like winning the lotto. Woo! It's like winning the lotto.
50 Cent got shot 9 times. God bless him, he still lived. Jay-Z had to sling Raw and push Purple and Wet off this step. So the thing is, God forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. True. But at the same time, he said that he wants to make it possible for other people. He said, no, Hov did that, so you won't have to do that. So the reason that Hov slung crack, and the reason that 50 Cent did what he did, is so that other people would have the opportunity to take an alternative route to success. So I think that these are brilliant, obviously, young men, but you have to have a fallback plan. You got to have plan A. If plan A don't work, you have to have plan B. Plan B don't work, plan C, plan D. You got to have alternate strategies to get what you're trying to get.
I still got plan B, C, and D right here. Even with my life right now, I still have plans. Still, constantly. Because you never know. You never know. We'll be right back.
We remain the most prosperous, powerful nation on earth. Our workers are no less productive than when this crisis began. Our minds are no less inventive. Our goods and services no less needed than they were last week or last month or last year. Starting today, We must pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and begin again the work of remaking America.
We're exploring something today very important, which is having the first black president in the White House and how that will affect the future of all black men. A recent study in the New York Times revealed that 5 million black males in America between ages 20 and 39 are unemployed, underemployed, or unemployable because of criminal records. Will that change now that we have a black president? Joining us now is Kijan, who's upset because she says her friend Sean needs to step up and try harder to get a job. Okay, so tell me what's going on. You don't think he's stepping up? He looks like a real nice, put-together guy.
Well, Sean and I went to graduate school together, and he's a very intelligent guy. My problem is that Sean isn't just pushing hard enough. I feel that he's not really sort of putting himself out there enough, not sending out enough resumes, not pounding the pavement as much as he needs to. And it's just really heartbreaking and disappointment to see that he's just not doing the best that he possibly could in his job search.
She says that you're not pushing hard enough.
Well, I beg to differ. I think the issue is that, you know, based on how I look, you know, it's very difficult for me to fit in the, you know, workplace culture. You know, the fact that I'm big, I have a beard, you know, all these things, you know, whereas I have, you know, white friends who, you know, have beards and, you know, look a certain way, but they're still able to get the job, or they're still able to work in the workplace because people are comfortable with that.
So you think that's what it is for him, that those are the obstacles of being a black man, Kijan, or do you think that it is him being lazy?
Well, I think part of it is that he's not aiming high enough. I mean, Barack is president, you know, he's sort of an example of how high we can shoot just as people of color to do the things that we want to do in life. And I just feel like whatever his perception of his reality is, but to me, they're just excuses.
Ty is here. He's a banking software installer. You're the only black guy in your department. What do you have to say about this?
I totally disagree because, I mean, I'm a professional. I mean, I even look, you know, different from everybody that's in my office in the whole company. I'm the only black guy that, you know, they've ever seen. But even looking the way that I look, if you hold yourself in a certain light and you hold yourself with a certain esteem, they're always going to respect you.
And you had an issue with your hair because you have locks. Turn to the side so we can see your hair. Beautiful. So tell us what happened at work.
After I was hired, I was kind of taken back behind the closed doors, and they're like, you know, we hope this doesn't offend you, but can you, now that you're accepting the position, can you get your hair cut? Or can you cut it, make it shorter? Can you not make it so long? You know, and I mean, I took direct offense to that because that wasn't just, you know, about a hairstyle. This is like a cultural expression. You know, so it was like, it was offensive because, you know, I'm the only black guy, so it's like, we want you to fit into this mold or this form.
Say you were having trouble getting a job and you think it was because of your locks. Would you cut it and get the job and then grow them out?
If it got to the point where, you know, I just couldn't find anything, but it's like, I don't think that this is an unprofessional hairstyle. You know, I think I can dress it up, and it's not just about the hairstyle. I mean, I go into work looking like this all the time, too, so it's much more than just, you know, so if I was, you know, saggy pants and thugged out and the dreads, then maybe, okay, that strikes against you, but if you can clean it up, I mean, there's other things that you can add in there to still express yourself, you know, as a black man.
Dr. Dyson, what do you think about this? How much of it do you think, someone like Sean, I mean, you don't know Sean, but you've heard his side, and then you've heard his very good friend Kijan's side saying she doesn't think he's trying enough, but he's saying he just feels that the doors are closing.
Well, there's another element here. I think, look, here's the irony of America. All of these stories are true at the same time. Truth is not cereal, S-E-R-I-L, not Captain Crunch versus Fruit Loops. But one thing is true until something else comes along, and then that's true. Stuff is true at the same time. It can be equally true that a highly intelligent, gifted young man who has an alternative hairstyle, the locks, is able to secure employment. And it's equally true that a highly gifted graduate student cannot find jobs. If you read William Jewis Wilson's book, When Work Disappears, Stereotypes of Black Male, you know, the Biggie movie came out. You know, dropped out of high school, stereotypes of a black male misunderstood, but it's all still good, whatever. The point is that you can have a dark-skinned black man who looks ominous and threatening versus a lighter-skinned, you know, voluptuously gifted young man right here.
I love that, voluptuously
right,
gifted.
Right. The brother he's well built and so on and so forth. Both of them are. But the point is that there's a gradation in terms of skin color, in terms of stereotype. So you could have a guy with a graduate degree still not being able to find employment, even as America moves toward the opportunity that Barack Obama has opened our minds to that all men should have.
Should he shave the beard to get the job?
Well, look, I mean, obviously, if you're hungry enough, you're going to shave the beard, right? But at the same time, if others don't have to shave their beards and you do, you might have to say, look, that's the world in which we operate. One day I will overcome that barrier and make it possible for me not to have to shave my beard, but perhaps until then, I may have to give in terms of the follicles on the face in order to get the job so that you can change this stuff from within.
It's about the principle, though. You know, if we continue to try to assimilate to standards of, you know, white workplace culture, then when are we ever going to get to a point where it's okay to have a beard, okay to have locks?
But Sean, right now you got to pay bills, and you got to eat, and sometimes just pulling out the bick is okay.
And looking at Sean, I mean, you have a nice groomed beard. I don't want you to be a smart brother, and I know you're super intelligent. I don't want you to give yourself excuses in this day and age when you've seen somebody named Barack Hussein Obama become president, and you sit around and say, yeah, that's easy for him. He don't have no beard. You can't, you know what I mean? Don't do that to yourself, because it is about your hustle game right now.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that Barack is doing to inspire everybody is that he's everybody's president. He's showing how far everybody can go if you apply and just keep going. It's not going to happen in one day, but you just can't be as smart as you are saying,
don't give him an excuse, Sean.
Yeah, don't give him
an excuse. To me, shave the beard, you get that job and you grow that beard out, and they cannot fire you for it, honey, or else they get it rubbed off. I'll be right back.
To those who cling to power through corruption and deceit and the silencing of dissent, know that you are on the wrong side of history, but that we will extend a hand if you are willing to unclench your fist.
So, we've talked about the effect President Obama will have on black men in appearance and the workplace and education, but what about in terms of relationships? Let's take a look at this cover of Ebony magazine. Oh, I love that picture. You can see the love. You can feel the love. The president and first lady, we have to admit, we all see that they are an amazing couple, a connected couple. They're the new ideal for anybody striving for the right relationship. But will their powerful bond be enough to inspire black men who prefer to date outside of their race? Joining us now is Connie, who's upset because her nephew Richard refuses to date black women. So, Connie, why does Richard not like black women for romantic partners?
I don't know. I think it's because Richard thinks that dating black women is too much work, you know.
Pretty much.
He thinks he has
Richard,
to work.
you're shaking your head yes.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. You know, he thinks dating outside of his race is easier because, you know, his dates, they're not interested in getting, you know, in commitments or you know, they don't be hitting on his cell phone. That's like, where are you? You know, what you're doing? Are you cheating? You know, and he says that, you know, black women take him through all that drama.
So, Richard, is that true?
Somewhat. I mean, I feel that it's a lot harder to date black women because black women, you know, they say black women go to sleep at night with their fists balled up. So, it's a lot harder.
How many black women go to sleep like this?
Like ready to, you know what I'm saying? Like ready to.
So you moved from New York to where when you were younger?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. And what happened when you went there?
Yeah, Tyra was like a big culture shock to me because, like, growing up in New York, you know, living in one of the 5 boroughs, you used to seeing a certain type of female on your block. And
like a black girl?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Black, Spanish, whatever, what have you, Jamaican, what have you. And then moving to Florida was like all my dreams of Who's the Boss and Facts of Life came true. I had Alyssa Milano on every block, Blair from Facts of Life, and it was like, it was crazy.
So it was like a fantasy that just came true?
Yeah, I mean, if you've been to South Beach, it's like, it's beautiful. It's like everywhere you walk, the model
I've been to
types.
Brooklyn, and that's beautiful, too.
Beautiful, but I mean,
I gotta jump in.
Yeah, jump. I need you to jump in so hard right now.
I'm sorry.
Please do.
First of all, listen here. I'm not against anybody having any kind of intimate or erotic bond across multiple axes of race, class, gender, however, whatever floats your boat, float with it. So obviously we wouldn't have our president if it wasn't for an interracial relationship.
That's
so let's
true.
be real about that. But howsoever, as James Brown would say, The notion is in America that white women are placed on a different kind of pedestal of beauty than black women. That's not to diss white women. If you got long flowing locks, if you have a certain kind of nose size and so on. So I'm not dissing that. That's beauty too, but it ain't the only beauty. Black women get short shrift. They get dogged as being too bitter. They get dogged as being too demanding. Here we are talking about a black president who holds us accountable. Sisters hold men accountable. You can't just roll through here and do your thing. But if you, let me tell you something, if you find a sister who with that kind of strength that got the race through slavery, that got the race through Jim Crow, that stood us up when we couldn't stand up, you expect that sister to be strong. Don't be mad when she shows strength now. My point is, you ain't made love to nobody unless you made love to a serious, strong black woman who can give out of her own strength.
Absolutely.
I have to ask you, what's your name? Come on up, Joe. You have the sagging pants. Have you made love to a black woman?
No, I have not.
You haven't made love to a black woman?
No.
He says he hasn't made love to a black woman. Is he missing something?
Oh,
Dr. Dyson?
brother, you missing the world and the possibility that lives within.
Gotta try it.
What are you doing? Your pants
No, what am I doing? Get back.
He said, yeah, well, you have that.
Okay. Richard, but did seeing Michelle Obama, her beautiful, gorgeous, chocolate, hourglass, arms that I am jealous of, body, elicit anything inside of you?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like I said, I like her because of the fact that it shows that that strong black love that maybe our grandparents might have gone through, but we've missed out in the 70s and 80s, is like coming back, the strongness of like the way they kiss each other, the way they dance, stuff like that.
We've never seen like a first lady and a president.
Yeah.
I mean, when they were dancing at the inauguration, they were like, yeah, baby, yeah.
And she kissed him on the forehead.
Yeah.
You know exactly what he whispered in their ears type stuff.
The great thing about Barack and Michelle is that you've never seen a first family just be so intimate in public all the time. And it's so genuine with the laughs and the giggles and the whispers that we see that and we say, man, that's how I am with my lady. But you don't have that in your own relationship and you're like, man, I wish I had that. But when I see Michelle, I've never been so turned on by a first family. And it's the way she looks at him when he's speaking.
Yes.
You know, and you might need to get you a sister because she wouldn't let you wear that sweater.
Today we're talking about the influence of our new first couple, Barack and Michelle Obama, President Barack and First Lady Michelle Obama, how they might have a big influence on the choices that black men and women make in their relationships. We're talking about relationships right now. Joining us is Colleen and her friend Jeanette. Is that right, or Jeanette?
It's Jeanette.
Oh, Jeanette.
Yes.
Like Jeanette Jackson. All right, Jeanette. And Jeanette says that she has given up on dating black men. So you've given up on the brothers.
Yes, I have, Tyra. I am fed up.
Tell us why.
Well, I was dating my daughter's dad, and we were engaged, and he got arrested. He got arrested, and come to find out the whole time, he had me thinking that he was working. He was selling drugs. And once he got arrested, it seemed like everything went downhill from there. I just started finding out that he was cheating on me. You know, it was just a mess, and I was left devastated.
Okay, so that's that one man. Any other black guys do awful things?
Yes, the boyfriend that I had before him actually started dating one of my family members. Yeah.
Colleen, what do you...
no love right now from the black men.
That's just two brothers, though.
That's two out of a lot.
That's two. Look, I understand the kind of dismay you might feel from another brother or another couple brothers, but there's a world of brothers out there who are doing the right thing, who are looking for a woman who obviously is ebony, ecstasy, and furrowed in coffee flesh like you, who would look forward to some beauty and some power, and who would treat you like a great woman. African-American men who have been raised by their mamas and daddies to treat people with respect can also give you love as well. So I don't think it's color-coded. You just have to keep pushing till you find the right brother.
Colleen, what do you have to say about Jeanette?
Tyra, I love Jeanette, but I feel like she just makes a lot of bad choices. I feel like she lumps all black men into the same category, and she shouldn't. I think she should give black men another chance. I really do.
Are you guys friends?
Yes, we are.
So you have your white sister friend telling you that you are treating brothers bad?
Shame on you!
That's interesting. So you're able to see that they're just bad guys or bad guys making bad choices.
Yeah.
And you can't go through just two. You can't go through two and say I've had them all. And you know.
No, but just in general, I've dealt with more than just the two. Those were just the worst experiences.
I've dealt with more than just two.
Right.
Broke down, ain't got no job, car, phone, house. I'm not lying, brother. I've also dated one that cheated on me like crazy. I dated another one that wanted my money. I dated another one that wanted to be a model, and that's the only reason why he wanted to be with me. But it made me push those guys out of my life. Not every black man. Not everyone, just those guys.
And you're younger. Look, Barack Obama wasn't the kind of catch that a woman wanted to have when he was a college student at Occidental. And then at Columbia, he admitted some of the problems he had in terms of drugs and not studying hard. So you could have a future Barack Obama that you can help become the president if you treat him right with love and expect and demand something out of him. You got to find the right brother. And when you find the right brother, you become the good kind of sister. Y'all could hook up together.
So tell me, Jeanette, I love saying your name.
Thank you, Tyra.
When you saw the First Lady and our new president, you know, sworn in, dancing beautifully at that inauguration, did it make you get a little pitter-patter for a black guy at all? Something?
Well, it did make me proud of black men, but at the same time, I'm just fed up, you know?
So it still made you go, great for you guys, but it's
great
not for
them,
me.
him being an individual. But overall, black men, I mean, they do it to themselves.
But what about when black guys say negative things about you as a black woman and they put you into a lump and say you go to bed with your fists and that you have attitude and that you're angry and all that type of stuff? Doesn't that make you go, but I'm not like that?
Well, I am. I am angry.
Yes!
I'm angry at the black man, and the black man made the black woman the way that she is.
Okay, so you're...
Yeah, then the brothers are blaming the sister. See, the sister blaming the brother, brother blaming the sister. Look, we're in each other's bed. Let's stop cutting each other's throat and start massaging each other's back and rubbing each other's feet.
That's why I'm so glad that we do have Barack and Michelle, because they're an example for every race to see what just love looks like, to see what respect looks like, to see what a second chance looks like.
We'll be right back. President Barack Obama epitomizes the meaning of what it is to be a father, and he challenges all men to be better fathers. Joining me now is Greg, who admits that he's been labeled a deadbeat dad and he resents it. So, Greg, who says that you're a deadbeat dad?
My son's mother.
The mother of your son, and why does she say that?
Oh, well, you know, she's looking for more things in her life from me to you know, as a father for my son to do a little bit more, but I'm doing the best that I can, you know, as a black man out into the society of the work society, you know.
What does she want you to do more of? Contribute more money and time?
Yeah.
Yeah?
More money and a lot more time, but I give a lot of time to my son. I also, you know, basically I have a lot of endeavors that I'm in, and I'm trying to do better and have more for my child. You
So
know?
when you say you spend a lot of time, how much time?
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
And, you know, and I try to do more during the week, but, you know, he goes to school, so, you know, that's his time in school, and his mother, and he lives with his mother, so.
And in terms of money, what type of money do you give? You don't have to say the number, but do you give as much as you can? Do you give what you legally have to?
Oh, no, I give as much as I can, you know, because I, you know, the expenses is on both ways. I have to take care of him and also take care of myself. And my expenses is not so cheap nowadays, neither.
Okay.
So.
I want to go to you, Stevie K. I want to go to you as a white woman, because you say that you feel that black guys get a harder rap about being deadbeat guys, deadbeat fathers. And why do you say that?
Well, I just think that the labels distributed, I guess, unequally, because my brother is 27 and he has a daughter who's 3, almost 4 years old this summer, and he hasn't been around. He's been in and out of prison, and he's not labeled a deadbeat dad, but put a scenario with a black man, and it's automatic. I think the attention for negativity targets more towards the black community than does the white community. And I know a personal friend, actually, who is playing at a top D1 college for football and turned down his scholarship to be around his son.
And he's a black guy?
And he's a black guy.
He's a black guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what, Tyra, they did a study a couple years ago in Boston that said that non-residential black fathers who have children who are not in the home, spend more time with their children than any fathers of any ethnic group.
Really?
Absolutely, which is stunning even to black people themselves.
I'm
really?
going, huh?
Yeah.
Me too, I'm going, really?
Right, so the reality is that, and there are a lot of stereotypes out there. There are stereotypes that black parents don't spend time with their kids talking to them. They did a study to show that black parents spend more time talking to their kids about the daily events and current events and politics and history than any other racial group. So the point is that there are a lot of stereotypes out there. That doesn't mean we don't all have to step our game up. Obama has challenged all of us to step our game up, and there's no question about that across the board. But you can't just, as my sister here said, you can't just target black men, though you need to talk to them about their responsibility. At the same time that we were talking about black people and black families going to heck, there were 17 young white girls in Massachusetts who had made a pact to have babies on their own before they graduated. I'm saying, is the white family going to hell in a handbasket? We don't create the kind of sociological trauma around their situation as we do around black people. I think all of us need to get our families together, and we need to support. A lot of non-residential black fathers are struggling, as this brother is, and so they don't have enough money to support themselves, basically their families. But you know, time doesn't cost anything. Loving your child doesn't cost anything. Spending time with that child doesn't cost anything. Picking the phone up and calling that child to let them know. If you give them that love, and if you nurture them on the vine of your love, when they grow up, they'll grow up knowing they didn't have money, but they had the meaningful interaction with their father, which is very significant.
Let the church say,
Amen. So, Ty, you're back with us. So, Ty, you're a father.
Yes.
In a different type of way. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, I'm a stepfather, but I'm also a father-to-be. My wife, Keisha, is pregnant right now. But I married, thank you. But when we got married, or while we were dating, I mean, she already had a daughter. But I looked at that as something that I was going to have to work hard at, because I realized that even though she did have a father, that what she would perceive as men, she would learn from the men that were around her. So that I had to step up my game and be an example as a man, so that when she gets an opportunity to choose a man, she looks to me for that kind of understanding. And I believe, even like with Barack Obama, he's showing us what the family should be like. He's like the epitome of like Heathcliff Huxtable, you know, on the Cosby Show. He's the reality of that, because like the Cosby Show was lights, camera, action, but like he's like the real living proof that black men can step up, be fathers in the family, and change our future.
And here's the tragedy. We've been doing it a lot longer than Barack Obama, but nobody knew about it. The beautiful thing is that ain't new. What's new is the exposure of that reality. Many of us have enjoyed warm, intimate, powerful, loving, nurturing relationships with black men. Many of you out there know that story, but that story is not told. It's the thug, it's the hood, it's the gangster, it's the pimp. It's not about the preacher, the lawyer, the doctor, or the automobile factory worker who loves and supports and nurtures his children. And we need more of those stories. So Barack Obama didn't create a new type, he exposed one.
We'll be right back. I want to know what you think. Do you think that the perception of the black man in our society will change now that Barack Obama is president of the United States? Go to tyrashow.com to take our poll, and I want you to sound off about today's show too. Because I know we didn't get to everything dealing with the black man, so I want to know what you're interested in to see, and maybe we can do another show. All right? We'll see you later.